a lot has been made over the birth certificate issue. And you apparently, you have said in previous interviews that you have a team of investigators in Hawaii now looking into it. It's
Correct.
got a lot of press. Everyone's
Correct.
asking you about it.
Right.
And what have you come up with your investigators?
Well, I don't want to say that now, but it's going to be very interesting. But I don't want to say it now, Sean, but I will say this. I don't love this issue. I'd much rather be talking about how China is ripping us off, how OPEC's... That's what I'm really good at. I understand it. I can do such a great job. But this issue came up about 6 weeks ago, and I've heard about it for years, but I never thought too much about it. And I assumed he was born in this country. But 6 weeks ago, I started really looking into it. He's got a certificate of live birth. That's, by the way, despite what certain liberal press says, that's not a birth certificate. It's a big, big step lower. In fact, in some places, you can't get married or get a driver's license with a certificate of live birth, okay? So I say to myself,
and it only has
why?
a stamp, no signature.
It's got a stamp. It's got a stamp. No, it's got a stamped signature. By the way, I have my birth certificate. I think I'll show it. I think I'm going to bring it down to Boca Raton this weekend.
Okay.
But I have mine. It's got stamps. It's got 3 different signatures. It's got everything. Everything's official. You have to see this thing. It's like a certificate of live birth is not appropriate. Now, I say to myself, why? A few just simple questions. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate, number one? You know, they say it's sealed. Well, but for the person, you can release it. If it's a person, you can release. Sure, it's sealed. It should be sealed. That's great. But the person, you know, I actually sent to New York for my birth certificate. And they actually got on the phone. They said, Mr. Trump, I'm sorry to do this, sir. You have to give me your Social Security number. You have to prove it's really you I'm talking to, Papa. I went through a whole big thing. Okay, but when they figured out it was actually me, they sent it to me. I had to pay $38, and they sent me my birth certificate. They could do the same thing with him. And I say, why did he spend millions of dollars on trying to stay away from this issue? Why doesn't he give his birth certificate?
Well, the one thing on his side is that they had these announcements in the newspapers
Means
8
nothing.
days after.
8 days later.
Yeah.
It was 8 days. Look, he's got a grandmother in Kenya who said he was born in Kenya at the hospital. Then there was bedlam in the room. Bedlam. I don't mean like a little, you know, because he was close to becoming president. And there were a lot of people in that room. And she was talking to a reporter with a lot of handlers, a lot of Obama handlers. So they have the grandmother, she said Kenya. Then all of a sudden, 51 seconds later, he asked a question again. And you hear people scream, no, no, Hawaii, Hawaii. Okay, give me a break. Now, the other one was 8 or 9 days later from the reported birth date. But you don't know if it was even the reported. But they could have easily come from Kenya or someplace.
The issue could go away in a minute. Just show the
I don't
certificate.
understand. Why doesn't he show? Why did he spend millions of dollars on trying to stay away from the issue? Now, it's one of two things. Either he wasn't born in the country, or he doesn't have a birth certificate that, or there's something on the birth certificate that he doesn't want people to see.
What do you think that could be?
I don't know. I mean, maybe
Does that have to do with religion?
Maybe it says he's Muslim, which wouldn't bother me. I mean, if it's that thing, you know, if that's it, it's it. It's what it is.
Well, he went to a Muslim school in Indonesia. He talks about studying the Quran. He talks about one of the most beautiful moments being, you know, prayer time at sunset.
Look, he was born Barry Sotero. Somewhere along the line, he changed his name.